Well, it's been kind of a slow day, and today's it's pretty nice. Yesterday was pretty nice. I think we're in the 70s. I think most of the country's this way, so it's, you know, I'm not telling you anything. What I found amazing was on Facebook and one of the local groups, they were all saying how they were having to run their air conditioner yesterday for Christmas. And I thought, my goodness, why are you running the air conditioner? Just open the windows. It's a beautiful day. Let some of that winter air out and some of that warm air in. It's I guess people just can't live without their air conditioners nowadays. There's a squirrel over here, sorry. So, but anyway, today has been pretty uneventful. The only thing that's come in for hobby business is a little chainsaw somebody wanted sharpened up, so I sharpened that. And I guess that's it. So I've been kind of just floating around online today. I'm telling you, everything is just garbage. Everything. YouTube, I just can't seem to do anything online anymore. It's just all, I can see through it all. It's just, I don't know. YouTube is just all fear-mongering and scare and entertainment. I don't know. I mean, I have more time, a better time each evening watching movies, even if it's a bad movie, than I do trying to navigate social media anymore. It's it really has become a difficult thing. You know, I've told you several times since I started eating meat, the fog has cleared from my head in the last few months. And I'm learning that the seed oil has dissipated in my head, and so I just see things more clearly now. It's difficult to contend with, but I'm managing. I don't know. Yeah, today somebody asked about lawnmowers on the Facebook group, and you know, I've talked about this a lot, how I don't even understand the processing information. First he says, the guy says, you know, it was a legitimate question. There was nothing wrong with the question. A valve on the old flatheads, instead of adjusting it with the overhead valve, you know, you can adjust them nowadays, you had to take the valve out and grind it down to the correct specifications. And if there was not enough material on it, then you'd need to replace it and grind it down to the correct specifications. Well, this guy asked, can I weld more material onto the end of the valve, still, you know, that valve with that piece of metal, and then grind it down to the right size? Well, I mean, if you're not worried about the engine lasting very long, and it's just a temporary fix, yeah, you're probably okay. You could do it for a little bit. But if you're really wanting to solve the issue, and even, you know, if it's a customer's mower, I would really think that's a dangerous thing. So the valve, you know, a lot of people were saying, yeah, you can weld it. And one person said, back in the old days, before we just became parts replacers, we had to make things like this. We had to do things like this. Well, okay, as a parts replacer, I would say you're safer. I mean, I can go about this a million different ways. So what I said was, the valve itself has a hardness spec, that it's annealed, heat treated to a specific hardness. And in this case, it was 50 C, Rockwell C. So, and when I was back in my quality days, right after I got out of the Navy, we had to use Rockwell testers all the time, and it's just, you know, it dents the metal and tells you how hard it is. I think it uses a diamond bit, if I recall. And it had to be a calibrated machine, and I worked at Paslode, it's a nail gun company, and we had to do hardness tests on aluminum. So I mean, you know, everything gets hardness tests. If you're using metal, it gets a hardness. Well, even a lot of plastics get a hardness test, believe it or not. So I said that. Well, I was immediately called out. One other thing. I also listed my sources, and I pasted a print screen into it so they could see that you know, what my source was. And immediately, this isn't a rocket, space rocket. It's just a lawnmower. And I mean, it was everybody. you know, they found an easy solution to a thing, and they didn't have to buy parts. You know, it was a $10 part. It's not even that big a deal. And you got to wait weeks for it. Well, I've never waited weeks for anything. Well, a couple things I have, but usually it's still weed eaters and stuff that I got to wait for parts, or Echo. But as far as Briggs & Stratton Kohler, I rarely ever have to wait for it. I don't remember the last time I had to wait for anything for too long. I did buy a camshaft once from Jack's, small engine, and they aggravated me. They sent it in the mail, and it got stuck in Kansas City. But I mean, we're talking occasionally, not all the time. 98% of my deliveries come in 2 days. So I thought that was a ridiculous argument also. But they were arguing with specifications. This is a rocket. Okay, well then I replied back that if it fails, because that metal is going to be as soft as a nail. I mean, nails bend pretty easy. But these valves, they're very stiff. And they have to be. I mean, in 10 hours, you're going to, I think, move that valve 1.5 million times or something like that. I mean, it's a crazy number. So it really needs to have some stability to it, especially if you work on a customer's machine, which is what I said, that you don't want to risk it. The other thing is insurance companies aren't going to cover that kind of repair. Insurance companies, anytime you're working with high RPM things, so for example, the valve, you know, that's high RPM, you have to use replaceable parts. Now you can use aftermarket. They don't have a problem with that, because I guess you can sue the company that made it instead of suing the mechanic that put it in. But as soon as the mechanic makes something with welds or something, then it becomes the liability of the mechanic, which means insurance, and they're just not going to let you do it. So I gave that point of view. That's never going to fail on you. What are you talking about? This is ridiculous. I've done 1 million of these, which when they say that, they've not done one. They haven't ever done one. It's just a good idea. So, and they never come back on me. One guy, there's a YouTuber, mechanic YouTuber, and he wears these fake buck teeth, and he's always talking about late deliveries, and he's always talking about it's not a rocket ship. And one guy, his profile picture and his wife's profile picture, you know, he's a mechanic, and he has the buck teeth just like his, you know, his idol on YouTube. Don't get me wrong, that guy with the buck teeth on YouTube is a pretty good mechanic. He's fantastic, but it's a character. And this guy's acting like this character. I mean, he's just mimicking him. It's a, what do they call that? Briggs and Scrap'em. Oh, it's just a Briggs and Scrap'em. I mean, that is this YouTuber's, you know, catchphrase, that kind of stuff. And so he's literally mimicking this guy. He says, it's not a space rocket. Okay, that's fine. It's not a space rocket. And I even said that. But it's a $2,000 repair if you fail. If it fails, you're going to be replacing an engine. That's just the way it is. Worse yet, if it fails, then, and it throws metal out and hurts somebody, now you're having to heal somebody. That's going to be millions of dollars. And he says, yeah, I've done this 1 million times and I've never had one come back on me. Okay, let's assume you've done one and it didn't come back on you, or even two and it didn't come back on you. What it is the guy who owned the machine took it to you, you fixed it, it failed again after 3 months, and he didn't make the connection that what you did and what it failed on. So he just said, you know what, I'm just going to get myself another machine. That doesn't mean because it didn't come back that, but the thing is that bucktooth YouTuber, he says that all the time. It never comes back on me. So this guy was just mimicking everything. So first of all, he ignored the data that it needed to be 50 Rockwell C. He ignored it. And then took on this YouTuber's personality. I mean, this is why I struggle with society. I don't understand that. I don't get it. You can't decipher information on your own. You literally have to mimic or parrot a YouTuber to make your point that you're some sort of special mechanic. I mean, his whole advertisement on his page, which I guess he uses to advertise his business, is this YouTuber character. I couldn't imagine. Look, one of the things that I feel good about, not having a building and all that, is that when somebody brings me their mower, they look at my gray hair, my wrinkled face, and they think, oh, and a shave. You know, I know people are going to get mad when I say this, but a shaved beard. You know, I'm shaved. And they say, oh, a guy I can trust. That is the one thing I got going for me. I'm clean, got short hair. So, the first impression is important. When I reply to a message, I always send it to some sort of program that checks for my grammar, make sure I have the right punctuation, because I want it to look good for the first impression. I think these, little things are a big step. But can you imagine that you're going to hire a guy and he's wearing buck teeth and talking like an idiot? Oops, excuse me. There's a rock here. Don't want to run over that. This thing just grows rocks, this yard. Look at the size of that. So, I don't even understand how you're going to run a business that way. And then you're going to try to have a logical argument about the hardness of a valve with an avatar on your Facebook page making you look like a complete loon. Now, I know the trolls are just going to have a field day with this video, and they're going to tell me that, well, look at your place. It's a piece of, junk. That's fine. I understand. But you got to give yourself every advantage possible, and putting on teeth and acting like a loon to get new customers is kind of crazy to me. Now, I understand the YouTuber's very busy. It's a very popular channel. But he built his brand on something unique. It was unique to him. And I actually commend him for it. I wouldn't do it. Actually, the first time I ever watched him was years ago. I watched about 3 minutes of his video and I thought, what is this? I don't want to watch this. I gotta get my glasses so I can see the time. So I shut him off, and I didn't watch him for the longest time. I don't know why I actually started watching him. It was only a couple years I started watching him, but I just couldn't stand him at first. So his brand actually turned off a first impression, me. So it took a long time for me to come around. Now, can you imagine if you're trying to build a business? Now, this guy had been business for like 20 years. So he wasn't risking a lot. He already had a good reputation. But if you're trying to start from scratch, you're going to start out with buck teeth and bricks and scrap them. I mean, first of all, if everything that comes in that you want to repair, you're tearing the name down. Look, there are people out there who really believe that the mower they have is a good mower. There is one mower brand that I get here all the time that I honestly think is just absolute garbage. I'm not going to tell you what it is. That's not the point. I don't like them. I think they're garbage. I see the problems with them, but I get them all the time. I'm not going to tell the customer, oh, that's a piece of garbage. They're proud of their mower and they want it running. And they're paying me to get it to run. If I tear it down and say, oh, yeah, it's a piece of garbage, it's going to lower their self-esteem about themselves. They're going to be aggravated. They got a junky mower and they thought it was great. So instead, they're just going to pay me to fix it. That's fine. If they think that their mower that has a lot of issues is a good mower. I mean, if they ever asked me, what mower would you buy? I would say, oh, I would buy this mower or that mower. But they don't ask me. One guy comes in and he brings the mower I'm talking about, and he is just absolutely thrilled with this thing. I mean, just brags about it, how well it cuts, and I'm just like, okay. And it was missing a spark plug wire, and every spindle on it was damaged, and he spent like, I don't know, several $100s to get it fixed back up, but he absolutely loved it. There was no way I was going to tell him that was garbage. He loved it. I'll just fix it so it works for him. But these people, oh, that's just a piece of garbage, bring and scrap them. Well, again, if you've been in business for 20 years and you decide to make a YouTube video and you're going to be silly, I get it. That's fine. Makes sense to me. And that YouTube guy is really good. He's really popular and he's really good. And he's proven himself to be, so he could be dumb or silly on YouTube. This guy doesn't want to look at the hardness of a valve. He doesn't want to analyze any science. He just wants to, no, you're wrong. No, I've done 1 million of these. And they never come back. No, they just get thrown away. So if you'll click this up next box, take your video over my other channel. Really appreciate it. Go check it out. So if I can inspire you, I don't know. Actually analyze things so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.